Okay, very good afternoon. So today we will talk about what type of uh, the what type of applications which are offered by various giant companies, big companies. Yeah. So we will in this particular unit we will talk about what Google, Microsoft, or Yahoo, Salesforce.com, or others are actually offering, what type of cloud services they are been offering here. Okay. So now if I talk about first Google there. So Google is actually the well-known biggest business venture which is actually offering you different types of tools under cloud computing. So almost it has giving you all types of services as we have discussed earlier in the first two classes that with different types of cloud services we have infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So many types of services are being offered by Google. So one of the, of course, in the coming chapters, we will discuss more and more about what Google or the other companies are supposed to offer us. But in this particular unit, we will talk about a brief glimpse of what actually these big companies are actually offering. Now, the Google App Engine. If I first talk about the Google App Engine, the App Engine actually enables developers to build up their web applications on the same infrastructure that powers Google's own application here. So Google actually offers you various types of web applications. So same type of infrastructure is Google offering for the web developers to develop their own applications. Means what we can do here is it is actually giving you the entire infrastructure. So when it is offering you the infrastructure, the entire infrastructure, the entire platform, when it is offering to you, what you can simply do here is you can write your own web application code and you can run your application. So the features of Google Web App Engine, the developers can write the code and deploy. So you have a provision, you can provision and configure multiple machines, means provisioning and configuring multiple machines for web services and data storage can be expensive and time consuming. So if you want to run a web application, see what happens here is when we are supposed to host a web application, we need to have a platform. So in general, we will talk first, and then we will see what type of uh, uh, advantage generally this cloud is actually offering for us. Okay, what type of application this cloud is actually offering for us. Now, for here, for instance, for example, uh, uh, to run a web application, we require some platform. On that platform, we are going to write the code, and then we are going to configure the machine, and then we can provide the web services. But the problem here is when the number of users actually increases, or if we require more and more data storage, then it will be expensive and time consuming for us because you need to change the entire infrastructure. You need to buy the new infrastructure. You need to configure it, and then you have to deploy, and you should start working on that. So these problems can be actually avoided when you are using this Google App Engine. So what you can do here is you can actually deploy the web applications by dynamically providing the computing resources as they need it. So here already the services are available for us. So these services are actually provided by this Google App Engine. Okay, so the developers just write the code and Google App Engine take care of it. Means all everything infrastructure is actually available for us. What you're supposed to do is you're just going to write the code and then you can deploy it. And also the next very important topic is about advantage is about absorbing the spikes in the traffic there. So the spikes in the traffic, in the sense there may be a sudden increase in the traffic. Okay, so when your web application becomes popular, see for example, I will give you a very practical example which I generally face, which I am observing is you know that we use IRCTC to book our tickets. in the earlier days when people are not very comfortable with the internet, or when the people are not much users of the internet there. So when you're using this IRCTC, there were, I mean, the number of users the IRCTC has is very less. But as the days progressed, when the application has become very popular, then more number of users actually used to visit the website to book their tickets, okay, railway tickets. And in the sense, for example, if suppose on at the 8 o'clock, for example, this if suppose the Tatkal tickets are supposed to open, then what happens here? At once, a huge traffic will be there will be sudden increase in the traffic that can be overwhelming the application for all the sizes here. Means there is a huge increase in the traffic there. In such cases, it is very hard for a old servers to handle all the users at once there. Now, that is about when we are hosting the machine. That is a problem when we are hosting the machine. Okay. Whereas in case of Google App Engine, there is an automatic replication and load balancing. So what happens here is it is easy to scale from one user to 1 million by taking advantage of big table and other components of Google scalable infrastructure. Of course, we have a discussion about this big table and other components here, because using this we can scale up from one user easily. It is possible for us to scale from one user to 1 million users in a very short time. You as an user, you as an customer need not worry about managing all these things. These all things are being managed by the Google App Engine. And the third, another thing here is about integrating with other Google services there. So already, because already some Google Web Services are available for us, you can just use them. You can use their APIs, the application program interfaces, that can plug and play the functionality for a simple but important feature. So here you need not develop anything right from the scratch. Means if suppose, for example, Gmail is there, or your Google Calendar is there, or you can talk about any other services which are actually available on your Google there. So you can just integrate those services with your application. So because of that, it is not necessary for you to develop those applications right from the start. Means here your lot of time is be saved. You can simply develop those. Means you can just plug and play that functionalities, the important functionalities, along with your own functions or applications which you are developing. Okay. Next, the cost. What is the cost for this? So at the beginning, when the Google actually offered this Google App Engine, okay, so it was free of cost. But later on, what happened here is, as the days progressed, they used to charge very nominal amount. So you can Google out and you can see what charges they are, means how much they are charging right now. But it is long around some 10 to 12 years back that they used to charge about $0.1 to $0.12 per CPU per hour, 1.5, to 0.18 per GB of data per month of storage, for ongoing and outgoing bandwidth, the respective bandwidth they used to actually for respective bandwidth, the outgoing bandwidth or the incoming bandwidth, they used to charge the respective prices which are mentioned here. So, in response to the developers' feedback, Google App Engine will provide new APIs. Means if you want some new APIs also, what the Google is going to do is it is going to provide you new application program interfaces which you can use there. Okay, that is about the Google App Engine. And also we have the web development kit. So we have a specialized web development kit here. So this web development kit, actually developers can develop and debug the web applications in the familiar Java programming language and deploy them in a highly optimized JavaScript. In doing so, the developers sidestep the common headaches, headaches like browser compatibility, and enjoy the significant performance of productivity gains. So what does it mean here? So it is having a web development kit there. Web development kit means, as I told you, that entire infrastructure is already available for you. What you just need to do here is to code. So you just write the code for your application, deploy them, and you start using them. ఓకే. సో అంటే రెడీమేడ్‌గా అన్నీ కూడా అవైలబుల్‌గా ఉంటాయి. మనకంటే ఒక అప్లికేషన్ డెవలప్ చేయడం కోసం ఏ టూల్స్ అవసరం వస్తాయో, అన్ని టూల్స్‌ని కూడా ఏంటంటే ఈ గూగుల్ యాప్ ఇంజిన్ మనకి ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తుందండి. అంటే లైక్ ఫెమిలియర్ జావా ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు ప్రొవైడ్ యూ. యూ కెన్ డిప్లాయ్ దెమ్ విత్ హైలీ ఆప్టిమైజ్డ్ జావా స్క్రిప్ట్ యూజ్ చేసి మనం ఏం చేయొచ్చు, ఈ యొక్క అప్లికేషన్స్‌ని మనం డిప్లాయ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. So because of this, that means that is an advantage for us, because we have the Ajax headax, means we can develop the application using Ajax also. So when you are developing the application using Ajax, what happens here is you can sidestep the headache, means browser compatibility problems కొన్ని ఉంటాయి. ఆ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ అన్నిటిని కూడా మనం ఏంటంటే ఓవర్కమ్ చేయడానికి స్కోప్ ఉంటుందండి. Okay, so the toolkit actually includes Java 5. So just morning I googled out, and I found that it is offering you using advanced Java, because it is long, as I told you, that it is a long back application, which is our time ఏంటంటే Java 5 యూస్ చేసేవారు. Now we are using the advanced versions of the Java. You can use them. So these capabilities means you can have all the capabilities that are included in the Java, which includes the Java generics you can use. Okay, we can use the enumerated types, annotations, auto boxing, variable parameters. These are all the features which are actually coming with the Java. You can all use these features to develop your application. And also, the compiler in Java Web Development Kit produces faster code than ever, delivering performance gains big enough for the end users to notice. Means this we have a very fast compiler which actually compiles the code very means in a high speed, and it will deliver whatever the application is means. It will deliver you the application in a required way. Okay, next, also you can use the JavaScript. You can use the JavaScript along with this Java to accomplish by the deep inlining, better dead code eliminations, and other forms of enhanced statistic analysis. So you can use this JavaScript. Indeed, often compiler produces faster JavaScript than the person would write. Means the JavaScript is actually provided by the compiler itself, rather than if you are writing in hand. సో మనం చేతితో రాసే దానికన్నా ఇదే మనకు కావాల్సిన స్పీడ్లో ఏంటంటే జావా స్క్రిప్ట్ ఇది ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేస్తుంది అంటున్నాను. ఓకే. Next, it is also having a rich and growing set of libraries also which are available for us. So using those libraries, including Ajax, including thoroughly tested reusable libraries for implementing user interfaces, data structures, client-server communication, internalization, testing, and accessibility. So lot of library functions which are available for you, which we can use them to develop our application. So that is one thing about Java, sorry, Google, which actually offering. So in the coming chapters, we will discuss more and more in depth about these. Okay. Next, we have the ENC Corporation. So the ENC Corporation is also one of the largest leader in products and services and solutions for information storage and management. So what you can do here is you can have you can use this ENC Corporation for storing your information and also managing uh, the management of information. So it will help the organization to extract the value from their information. So what you can do here is you can extract the information, because in the last class, as I told you, that for an organization the information is important, storing of information and also retrieval of information is important, and more aware. So what we are doing nowadays is we are using these intelligent systems, the business intelligence systems, which are actually used for extracting the value information, which will be helpful for our decision making. So you can go for this EMC. Okay. So EMC actually raised the stakes in a set of virtualization is going to be big next thing in the world of computing. It introduced symmetric VMAX system in April 2009, claiming that it is the first management support the high-end virtual data center. So it has introduced the symmetric VMAX systems there. So we will talk about this virtual machines later on. So what EMC has done is they have introduced this system which will actually support high-end virtual data centers. The system allows customers with a vast storage needs to easily manage and expand storage systems without interfering with the day-to-day operations. So mainly it is going to provide you large, vast storing requirements there. Okay, and we can have allows the multiple data centers to be run as if they were one, making the management much easier and more efficient. So what it is going to do is here you can have the multiple data centers here. So in the beginning classes we discussed about the what is actually data center also. So we can have these data centers which are can be used. Okay, and బట్ టు అస్ అంటే మనకు కనపడే మనం ఎలా అనుకుంటాం అంటే మనకి ఏదో ఒక చోట మొత్తం డేటా అంతా కూడా స్టోర్ అవుతుంది అనుకుంటాం కానీ లార్జ్ మల్టిపుల్ డేటా సెంటర్స్ని ఇది మనకు ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తుందండి సో దట్ ద డేటా కెన్ బి స్టోర్డ్ అండ్ కెన్ బి రిట్రీవ్డ్. సో వాట్ టెక్నాలజీస్ ద EMC apart from going beyond the virtualized data center management, the other field of expertise includes archiving. Archiving in the sense storing, creating accessible online archives అంటే మనకి ఏంటంటే ఒక లైబ్రరీలు దాచుకున్నట్టు అనమాట. సో it is going to create the archives, online archives that can offer reduce operational cost by shrinking backup windows and making restores faster there. అంటే రీస్టోర్స్ వాటిని మనం చేయాలన్నప్పుడు టైం టేకింగ్ కాకుండా ఎప్పటికప్పుడు ఇది ఏం చేస్తుందండి, ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు హ్యావ్ ద ఆన్లైన్ ఆర్చివ్స్. సో ఇట్ విల్ స్టోర్ all the data in a library so that they can be restored later on in a faster way. And we have the backup and recovery. Different tools are there which are used by the ENC to recover for recovery management, offering backup technologies and management strategies to ensure that you have a solid backup and recovery practice. Means generally we often discuss about these points also. Later on also when we discuss about the storage, we come across with this point because there may be chances that we may lose the data. So when the data is lost, we must have a proper backup and also the recovery management, because the data loss may be in any form, in maybe any way. Don't think that only there will be an data is stolen, data is erased. It's not like that. For instance, for example, suddenly, for suppose. Uh, um, some fire accident has happened and all the systems have been all the systems which are available for us are been lost, or because of some floods or because of some cyclones we have lost the systems. In such case what we need to do is we need to have proper recovery and management so that we can recover the data. So for recovering the data we must have a proper backup. So when we are having a proper backup, what we are going to do here is we can recover our data as easy as possible. So such recovery management is actually provided by this EMC. So next is the enterprise level, the content management. So content-based solutions means according to the required content, they are going to offer you, they are going to provide you the solutions which will mitigate or minimize the risk without imposing over complex technologies on your organization. Means without having overly complex technologies, you can have the content basis. It means as per the content, as per the problem you have, you can have the solution for this. And the next is very essential and important point, that intelligent information management. This I had told you just know that when you are storing, because today the companies are expecting intelligent systems. What are these intelligent systems? The systems are going to think by themselves and they are going to give us decisions so that you can make proper decision making. So various technologies are allowed for an organization to discover, restore, and act on the information in an intelligent way. So we have a lot of technologies which are available in this EMC, so which can discover, store, and act on the information in an intelligent way. Then we have an simplified IT management. IT management is simplified and its cost is reduced to automation, virtualization, and process efficiency. So the IT management cost has been reduced. Okay, so because of this simplified way, and also because of the automation, when you are automating, so no need of much human involvement. So because of the virtualization, also we can have the reduced cost. Then we have the replication, data protection, and remote replication technologies provide disaster recovery options. So that's what I had told you, that data protection and remote replication technologies. So when you are having data, what you can do here is you can remotely store the data. Remotely storing the data in the sense, I can give you an example. See, we live in some coastal area, so there is a high chance that because of some cyclones, heavy cyclones, uh, 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 um, there may be a disaster. The disaster may happen at our place, so we may lose uh, 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 we may lose the systems because of some power fluctuations, or because of these floods, because of some these cyclones, high tides, we may lose. So in such cases, what we can do, instead of maintaining the data in this coastal area, if you are placing the data in a safe place where there is a less chance of cyclones, I'm sorry, less chance of some catastrophes there. What happens here is you can recover the data when there is a problem. Also, next, the final point is about security. The organization can deploy products with the capabilities for access control and data protection and identity. So, access controlling, as I told you in the last class, also we discussed about this access control. Means not all the data can be accessed by everyone. You can have an enough access control policies which you can develop, so you can protect the data. And time to time we can have this auditing also is can be done, so as to identify how the data is being used. Okay. Next, we have the storage, as I told you, processes and technologies that help to manage the data in an efficiently maintain it. So, lot of storage capabilities are possible for us, where you can store the data. Next is virtualization, very interesting topic, and also interesting concept, which is more popular nowadays. The products including VMware, backup, and other EMC virtualization tools improve the management and flexibility of virtual infrastructure. So these are actually having some virtual infrastructures. So those infrastructures are actually being powered by this VMware backup. So how they are actually backup by mm, this VMware here is EMC has expanded the virtualization offering. So by acquiring the Palo Alto based VMware company, so EMC has actually acquired this VMware. So by paying approximately 625 US million, I mean 625 million US dollars, they have played and they have acquired this company there. So VMware actually plays a key role in EMC strategy to help the customers to lower their cost. Okay, and simplify their operations by deploying virtualization technologies across their heterogeneous IT infrastructures to create a single pool of available storage and computing resources. So what VMware is doing, it is actually providing you its customers a very simplified operations. So by deploying the virtualization technologies. So we will more talk about the virtualization. We have one chapter where it is dedicated entirely to the virtualization technologies. So, so what you can do here is you can deploy the operations by you can simplify the operations by deploying virtualization technologies across the heterogeneous IT infrastructures. The IT infrastructure may not be homogeneous; it may be an heterogeneous IT infrastructure to create a single pool of available storage. So we have a single pool of storage which we can use to store our data. Okay. Next, EMC will operate with VMware as a separate software subsidiary of EMC, headquartered in Palo Alto, California. So EMC will operate this VMware as a separate software subsidiary. Okay. So the VMware name, brand, and products will be maintained, and the VMware employees will be remain focused on developing, selling, and services of VMware products. And of course, this is all the business issues which are discussed here. So when VMC acquired this, so it acquired all the VMware employees. Who? will actually focus on developing, selling the services. Next, another type of application company which we are having is a NetApp. This is an organization that creates storage and data management solutions for their customers. Like the EMC, it is also actually offering you for storage and data management solutions to its customers. So its goal is to deliver the cost efficiency and accelerate business breakthrough. So cost efficient services, their goal is to provide you the cost efficient services and to accelerate that business breakthroughs. So they actually, the NetApp is the one which introduced the first networked storage device. They are the one who has actually offered you the networked storage device. Okay. Next, the company continues to introduce new technologies that reduce the cost of IT. Okay, the NetApp claims that they can cut the IT cost in half using 80% of less storage. So what they are saying that here is they can offer such services that your IT cost is reduced by half. Yeah. Okay, the company grew gradually and they are having 130 offices around the world at that time. Means long back, 12 years back, it is mentioned that they are having some 130 offices around the world. But today, there may be more than 130 offices which may be of NetApp here. So, what are their offerings there? So NetApp was offer data centers consolidation and storage services as well as virtualization. They offer the data centers called consolidations where you can maintain the data centers which is capable of storing the data. They have the storage services which are offered for you as well as the virtualization. Their products include platform OS, storage services, storage security, software management, and protection software. So they offer you the platform operating system, any type of operating system they can offer where you can develop your application. They have the storage services. They have the storage security also, which is offered by them, and then the various protection softwares also they are available. The solutions run government means a big amount from Microsoft SQL Server and SharePoint services to seismic processing and reservoir development to desktop and virtualization. So, what type of solutions they are offering? They are offering right from Microsoft SQL servers to SharePoint services, the seismic processing means and reservoir development to the desktop and server virtualization. So various types of offerings are available for us. So what they have done here, the NetApp is have done here is they actually have a partnership with Cisco. They have actually partnership with Cisco. So they teamed up to provide customers with an unified dynamic data center solutions that are based on the Cisco unified computing system and NetApp unified storage architecture. So they actually offer you a unified dynamic data center. So where the data can be stored dynamically, they are offering. So they actually, which is based upon the Cisco's unified computing system. These are all the technologies which are offered by the various companies. So they have the unified computing systems and also the NetApp unified storage architecture. Cisco and NetApp are working together to certify the combined solution, and their companies will also collaborate on customer support and marketing activities. So they are working together to certify the combined solutions. They are offering you the combined solutions as well as the companies will work uh, together on the customer support and marketing activities. The Cisco Unified Computing System unites compute, network, storage access, and virtualization resources in a cohesive new data center architecture. So what the Cisco Unified Computing System is doing, it is uniting the computations, networking, storage access, and virtualization resources in a cohesive, means all at one place. Okay, that means a cohesive way and the different ways they are, in different places they are actually it's one place they are all been offered in a new data center architecture. This allows the customer to reduce the complexities often associated with data center virtualization, lower costs, and improve the virtualization efforts. So because of this, because all are placed at one place, they can have the reduce the complexity, they can lower their cost and improve the virtualization. Through Cisco validated design, okay, NetApp will provide flexible, powerful storage solutions for Cisco Unified Computing that will be tested for interoperability in virtualized data center environments. So what they can do here is through the Cisco validated design. So the validation design, the design which is validated by the Cisco validated design here. What the NetApp will do here is they provide the flexible and powerful storage solutions. Okay, that can be tested for interoperability. Means different ways in on different platforms they can be operable in a virtualized data center environments. So the customers can benefit from this unified storage model across the entire NetApp product portfolio. So all the customers can have benefit for this unified storage model. Okay, so out of all, what we can at the bottom line we can say that here is they actually offer you the various storage solutions where we can store the data and when where you can retrieve the data as required. So these are all things actually how they have collaborated, how they have actually combined their things are been discussed here for knowledge purpose. You can discuss this all things. So that's about these three company offerings. So we discussed about the Google, the ENC, and the NetApp today. So the next class, actually, we are actually going to discuss about the Microsoft, what type of services the Microsoft is actually offering for us, and then we will discuss about the SharePoint services also. So very big guns. So today, this Microsoft SharePoint, Salesforce.com, Amazon, they are actually offering you various type of services for us under cloud. So what type of services they generally offer, we will discuss in the coming classes. Okay. So any doubt today? Any doubts? Okay, thank you. Mahesh.